Gadadha Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Jaya Shri Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bhavana Harinam Sankirtan ki अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम राम, हरे हरे.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Guruji, for taking out your time. Guruji has such a busy schedule. So just ask in the morning and Guruji agreed to give his time. All of you know how difficult to get the time. For a few of us, Guruji has agreed. So from our bottom of our heart, let us express our gratitude and loudly chanting 3 times. Haribo! 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 Last 1 week was filled with a lot of enthusiasm, seeing you every day in the program. It's a great blessing.
And I got to stay in Chapati after a long time for so many days at a stretch. Nowadays coming has become very difficult for me. See, you see this picture of very famous Bharat Maharaj saving the deer. You all know the pastime. I'll be running through it fast for you. So, just as Bharat became compassionate to the deer, we also tend to dilute our sadhana by some material attachments, knowingly or unknowingly. Uh, like one boy who actually wanted to take training in the temple. He had a desire, at least 1 or 2 years he wanted to take training. But prior to that, he helped, uh, some girl get a job, in his company. She got a, but because she was helped with getting the job, she became very grateful to him. And he also became to some degree attached to her in the course of, helping her. So over a period of time, they were working in the same company, same department, and they started getting closer to each other. And he never could come to temple for training. Now they became so close. So he was in two minds whether to dedicate his life as a brahmachari fully. He hadn't thought of marriage as an option at that time. But because of this connection, so for him, this girl became the dear. Correct, no? Similarly, for somebody else, a smartphone can become a dear. It can, like I saw one boy, went to a very secluded, serene place. We call it as a sacred space, we call it. He found out a sacred space, just sit and chant peacefully. But as soon as he sat, the mobile started ringing. So, of course, the beads are in the hand, and he started seeing what it is. After some time, he attended, he was shouting, was asking. Then this went off. And this occupied is almost half an hour. Then suddenly he realized that I am sitting here, physically sitting, as if I am going to start chanting. Chanting has not even started. Before that, the smartphone took over his life completely for half an hour. So for him, the smartphone became his dear. So in this world, all of us have different dears. For somebody, the smartphone becomes dear. For somebody, a woman becomes a dear. For somebody, some material distractions can become dear. See here how he is getting distracted. Right now? He is offering ahuti to Vishnu's tongue, which is the fire of the Agni Kunda, Yajna Kunda. But his attention is not there. It has been stolen away by the tear. So he was thinking that, oh, the deer is helpless, it's forced by time, it's alone, it's taken my shelter, it is dependent on me fully. So, and he also thought, I should be non-envious and selfless and raise and protect and gratify fondly, all that I should do, because it has become my duty now. So, which man in this world can be hard-hearted not to show some compassion like that, he thought. Of course, to be compassionate is never wrong, but in the name of being compassionate, he went overboard in becoming attached to the deer. So, like on the other hand, you will find Shivananda Sen. He also was caring for a dog, feeding the dog. One day he had to go for some kind of management purpose. He told one servant, please make sure the dog also gets food 3 times a day. Because when other Vaishnavas are eating, feed him also prasad. So that servant agreed. But then next day when he came and asked the servant said, sorry, I forgot. He said, I don't know where the dog is. I just became busy with something else. So immediately he became very sorry. What would have happened to my dog? And all day he didn't eat anything. So he fasted one full day. Shivan said. And then he didn't find the dog anywhere. But then when he went to Puri, he saw Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was feeding coconut pulp to the dog. Was feeding, and the dog was standing on 2 legs with the arms raised, chanting the holy name in front of many Vaishnavas watching. And a Vaikuntha airplane came and took the dog. Dog went back to Godhead. So Prabhupada quotes Shivanand Sen's example as one who could connect with this animal transcendently and uplift him. Whereas Bharat Maharaj is an example of someone who degraded the consciousness by connecting with a innocent and insignificant creature. So, whatever connections we all make in life, it should be uplifting for others. Like imagine if somebody is drowning, If I want to lend my hand to save that person, I also jump into water. I know swimming, but not so well. So, is it all right for me to give my hand? Then I can be drowned, correct now? On the contrary, if I am a strong swimmer, I can pick up that person and put him on my shoulder and still I can swim. That much strength I have. Then I can go into the water. Okay, let us assume that I don't have that strength. But he is already screaming, save me, save me. I have a long rope available. So how do you think we can save the person? Okay, you can throw the rope and you pull him by standing on the bank. But he can pull you so fast that you will be dragged into the river. What can be done? Any other solution? Anybody has? Thing, yeah. Something on the bank of the river, something like a tree or something. And the tree is like ISKCON temple. Correct now? Correct now? ISKCON temple and association devotees. So with that you can help him. We cannot help him alone. Correct now? This is what I used to do. Sometimes in my YouTube channel, somebody hears a question and then some girl will write a question to me, not to me directly. She writes to the video man. A video man will forward it to me. One of the first things I will do is to connect them to another Mataji, one senior lady. I'll tell her that, see, I am answering your question now, but you will get more mentoring help if you connect with this lady. And I'll put that lady also. Now that lady is like the tree. Now the tree will take care. We can't deliver anybody. Correct now? So in this way, we have to take care of our, here's your purpose says. What he says? Be cautious. Please read it, one of you.
Neglecting rules and regulations and chanting Hare Krishna will cause all harm.
Yeah. If you neglect chanting, if you neglect rules and regulations, then you then
rise early in the morning, bathe, attend Mangalarti, worship deity, chant Hare Krishna, study Vedic literatures, and follow all rules prescribed by acharyas and gurus.
like Prabhupada says in one purport, all these things. These are things which will elevate us. But if you neglect the four regs and chanting, then we go down. He was neglecting, correct, no? Yeah. Now let us go one by one. See, what does chanting Hare Krishna do in the morning program? See the result of chanting. Yeah, read it.
Chanting destroys material desires, gives determination, and awakens living.
Amazing, no? It destroys material desires. Chanting of the holy name. In our mind, there are many kama karma bijas. Kunti Parani says, Bhavesmin klishyamananam avidya kama karma bihi shravana smaranarhani karishyan iti kechana. The first line she says, Bhava asmin means in this material existence, she's saying. Klishyamananam, the sufferings that all jivas undergo, where is it coming from? She's saying avidya, kama, karma bihi. Three things she's saying. Avidya means ignorance. Because we have ignorance, kama develops, lust develops. And that kama turns into karma. So kama is actually in our mind in the form of seeds. And they are pushing us. That's what he says, baladiva niyojit. Anichannapi varshneya baladiva niyojita, he says. So that karma leads to karma. What karma? Often vikarma, sinful activities. And then the vikarma produces, klesh. That's the result of that. So ignorance produces sin, and sin produces suffering. Comes like that. So therefore she's saying avidya, kama, karma, bihi. So in Hindi, kam also means karma, correct no? Work. In Hindi, correct no? So in Hindi, काम हो गया क्या? People ask, no? Like that, correct? That means calm also can be understood as desire. Calm also is action also, both, isn't it? So, in this way, all of us are impelled to act in this world in ways that are detrimental for our spiritual life by ignorance. So, by ignorance, the material desires develop in the mind, but the chanting will destroy those material desire seeds, kama karma bijas. So those bijas only eventually fructify into a tree and produces neem seed like neem fruits, like that very bitter sufferings which come in our life. Therefore, the chanting will destroy the seed level only, it will destroy, he says. And it gives us determination to Determination is willpower. To say, like we say, know the right, choose the right, discipline the right. These three things, if you do, any habit can be changed. First, you should know the right by studying the scriptures, and choose the right by willpower and determination that comes by chanting. Know the right, choose the right, discipline the right. What is discipline the right? Once you right now, all of you have become wonderful devotees now. You wear dhoti, kurta, tilak. You know the right already. And you have also chosen the right path by now staying in the temple and doing VTA now, isn't it? And disciplining the right is what you are trying to do by this VTA course. Like, for example, every morning, rise with everybody, attend our whole morning program, correct now? You are disciplining your system. Even scientists say 51 days, if you do your same activity, that becomes your nature. It becomes a habit, he says. Second nature it becomes. Then you don't have to, after that, without even your effort, effortlessly you'll be able to do it. And your VTA is for how long? 1 year? Wonderful thing. 1 year you are going to practice now. And it will go on and on like that. So, in this way, know the right means from the scriptures. Do the right requires determination, which comes from chanting. Discipline the right requires association. Because alone disciplining oneself is difficult. But if you stay in VTA, you get up with everybody, you take bath, come to temple hall, look at other devotees, and then you also get inspired. That is, disciplining is possible by association. That means three things you need. You need Bhagavad Gita, you need feedback, and you need association. If you have these three things, you can accomplish those three things. Right now? So this is the way you become strong in all the good habits in life. Now, another set of three things I will tell you, which if you do, then any habit can be changed. Like, for example, say one of you was sleeping at 12 o'clock, for example. So you want to go from 12 to 9:30 or something, or latest by 10, or whatever. Here you all sleep by what time? Approximately 10, latest? 9:30 you sleep, yeah, very good. So from 12 o'clock to 9:30, in one go may be difficult. So what you do, the first thing is, anything you want to accomplish, you cut it into smaller pieces. Like watermelon, you want to eat big watermelon. You can't eat it like that. But you make slices. And bit by bit, if you eat even 3, 4 watermelons, you can finish. Right now? That's the first thing you can do. So make it into, what do you call it? Smaller goals which are easy to accomplish. Which means instead of sleeping at 12, you may sleep at 11:45 for 1 week. And then you may sleep for one more week, going to bed at 11:30. And then third week, 11:15, like that. And then fourth week, you'll go at 11 o'clock. Like that, little by little by little, you bring in a period of like 2 or 3 months, you can hit 9:30. So this is the first one, make it into pieces. Second thing, have a role model, some role model senior devotees who will always sleep on time and get up on time. They will never compromise. Uncompromising, strict practitioners. Have some role model people. So, senior devotees who give you inspiration like that, being role model, they can give you spiritual strength also. Simply by looking at them and following them, we get the spiritual strength from them. Thirdly, you need equal devotees to get encouragement. From fellow mates, you get encouragement. From senior, you get spiritual strength. And by making it into slices, you get achievable goals. Correct? No? By these three things. So you can very easily cultivate any habit you want to cultivate. Say, for example, you don't want to sleep during the day. Some or other, others are sleeping, so you also sleep 1 hour, let us say, for example. You have a habit. Now, you want to cut it down to half an hour. So how do you do that? Make it into slices. Okay. Instead of 1 hour, 50 minutes you will sleep, then 40 minutes, then half an hour. Correct now? Now you have brought it down to half an hour. Another thing you will do is look at senior devotees who never lie down in the day. Once they get up in the morning, they are like get, set, go all day. And night they will go to bed and quickly go to sleep within 5 minutes. There are people like that. And you are very inspired by them. And they have a lot of high energy level. So you see them. So they are role models. So they can give you spiritual strength. When you look at them, oh, wow, this person is so strict. So they draw strength from them. And then you also should see amongst your friends, if somebody has a habit of sleeping in the day, there's some room where they call Muchukunda room or something, where people go. Of course, Muchukunda slept after doing a lot of hard work. you know, so somebody goes to that room. So you should not hang around that room, correct? No? Because already you are trying to change the habit of day sleep. You want to avoid, isn't it? Then you go to another room where there's a library, where bright lights are put up and everybody is reading. So then you have to get equal association of people who don't waste the day in sleep. Correct, no? You got that room. That's peer association. By that you get encouragement. So in this way, from peers you take encouragement. From superiors you get spiritual strength. And by making it into slices, accomplishable goals. Any habit can be changed. Very easy. It's very, very easy. It's a question of sticking to this practice. So, in this way, do these three things which I told you. What the other one I said? Know the right, choose the right, discipline the right. So, those three make it clear for you that yes, this is the habit I have now. From here, I want to go to this. From this level, I want to go to this level. So, begin with those three. Know the right, choose the right, discipline the right. And while disciplining the right, you take advantage of the other three I told you. Yeah. It comes in disciplining. In disciplining, slice by slice, you discipline yourself, and take inspiration from, and strength from the superiors, and also from the encouragement from equal friends like that. So in this way, uh, the chanting is going to give you determination. So one should never think that chanting is difficult. Somehow or other I will badly complete 16 rounds. If possible, one should chant 2 extra rounds or 4 extra rounds if one can. So by chanting some extra rounds, it's called as Prem Mala, we call it. Because everybody chants only 16. You chant some extra malas, that's done out of love. So in this way, the material desires can be washed away by chanting. Exactly like, taking a wet cloth and wiping a dirty mirror. When you wipe it, then you can see your face very clearly. So chanting is like that. Just like they show this Vicks paper of advertisement, you have seen that something like kitch, kitch, kitch is doing some trouble here. You have seen that? And then the mother takes some Vicks and applies here for the boy who is like that, he's sneezing, correct, no? And next day morning he gets up and says, it's gone now. No more kitch, kitch. And what was that kitch, kitch it was doing? Some, trouble giving virus or bacteria or something like that. So in our mind also, the three kitch, kitch fellows are who? Lust, anger and greed. These three. They are called as gateways to hell. Trividam narakasyedam dvaram nashanam kama krodha tata lobhas tasmat etatrayam tyajet. He's saying, Krishna is saying. Tyajet means one must give up, he says. These three enemies. Out of these three also, there is only one enemy who gives birth to the other two. Anybody can say? Out of these three? Lust is the root. When lust is not satisfied, it becomes anger. When lust is satisfied, it becomes greed. For example, if you give some small kid some gems chocolate to eat, and my mother gave me for the first time just 3-4 colorful pieces, multiple color. It's available right now, round one. I was like shocked. Wow, where does this come from? It's very crispy outside, and then inside the cocoa is very tasty. My mother showed the packet. I said, give me the whole packet. I'll take care of it. So then I finished everything. Then when we were leaving the shop, I told my mother, Mom, take 2 dozen packets. It's very nice. Every day I can eat 4 pieces. 4 packets. She said, you lose all your teeth. It's not good for us. But when you were given a little bit, then you want more and more of it. You will see that. That means when lust means an adamant desire for the prohibited. That is lust. It's cocoa chocolates are prohibited for the tooth, not good for us. But that's what we want to eat more and more. Like you all like fryams, fryams? Can you eat a plate full of fryams like this? You can eat. Again, you put one more like this, one more like this. Can you eat like that? What will happen if you eat like that? You don't eat any rice, dal, chapati. You only eat fryams. 5-6 plates of fryams. Can we eat? Very tasty now it is. What do you call frames? Particular chips. Round one also comes like a tubular cylinder, yellow color one. Sometimes it comes in round one designs also. It's very crispy. But very tasty also, correct? No? But if you eat 5-6 plate of frames, it will get stuck in your belly. Huh? It's very bad for health. Although it's very tasty. So to have an adamant desire to eat such things which are not good for us is also lust. And then that lust turns into greed. When you give a little bit. Dushpurena analena cha, Krishna says. He says, yehi samsparshaja bhoga dukkhayonaya evate adyantavantak kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha. So intelligent people do not become attracted to the prohibited activities, especially sex life. In Bhagavad Gita, you will see bahya sparsheshu asaktatma, he says. The sparsha means touch. Asaktatma is unattached to that. By how? By elevating his consciousness. Similarly, this verse also says, he says, what is the verse which says, Dushpurena analancha, Kamiyesha, Krodeyesha, Rajoguna Samudva, Mahashana Mahapapma, Vidyani Mahavarinam. And then he's saying, Jnanino Nitya Vairina, Kamarupena Kaunteya, Dushpurena analancha. He says, Jnanino Nitya Vairina. He's saying he's a eternal enemy, very dangerous. That's a very dangerous thing. The strong inclination for doing the prohibited activity. Like Ravana wanted Sita at any cost. So he was destroyed, correct? No? So when you provide, then greed comes. And when you don't provide, anger comes. That means there is only one problem. What is it? Lust. And that should be transformed into love. So lust is represented by Ravana and love by Hanuman. So from Ravana consciousness, we have to go to Hanuman's consciousness. What is the difference between the two? Ravana's consciousness is Bhogavritti. Hanuman's consciousness is Sevavritti. So we have to convert the Bhogavritti to Sevavritti. That's the main homework. Our ashram training means that is it. Give up the Bhogavritti, adopt Sevavritti. Service attitude. Do I want to serve the Vaishnavas or do I strive for getting service from others then? Do I want to respect the Vaishnavas or do I strive for respect from others? Do I care about others' conveniences and what they are looking for, or do I mostly care about myself? And I want others to care for me. Do I feel glad upon seeing others' advancement in spiritual life, or do I envy them? Isn't it? And do I depend on Hari Guru Vaishnavas for making any decision in life, or do I listen to my own whimsical mind? So these are 5 things we can check. It's a test, self-test for Bhogavritti or Sevavritti. Correct? Now we can do this. So, Bhogavritti means I am the proprietor, I am the controller, I am the enjoyer. That is Bhogavritti. And Sevavritti means how will you convert that? I am the proprietor, you should convert it to everything belongs to Krishna. Correct? No? And then I am the controller. So what is the verse opposite to this? Ishvaraha Parama Krishna. Krishna is the supreme controller. Correct? No? And I am the enjoyer on the living entity things. Who is Bhoktaram Yagya Tapasam. Krishna is the enjoyer. When I say I am the proprietor, opposite is Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. Krishna is the Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. Correct? No? So in this way, this transformation in our life to do, for that we are chanting. So whenever we say, we have to purify the purify, what to purify? These 3 only you have to purify. I am the proprietor, I am the controller, I am the enjoyer. Like Bali Maharaj, Alexander, Hitler, and also the British fellows. All these fellows wanted to increase their proprietorship. Correct now? Even Hiranyakashipu also. He wanted to be proprietor of all the 3 lokas. Triloka Adhipati. Correct now? So every living entity wants to increase his domain. First of all, increase the domain geographically, then have a control over the people subsequently. Because first comes proprietorship, then comes controllership. How you got these places? Now bring everybody under my control. I will control. Like Hiranyakashipu wants to control Prahlad. Isn't it? So he cannot control. So when he cannot control, what happens? He becomes angry. That means controllership leads to anger. And proprietorship comes from increasing the, geographic ownership. Correct now? So that is proprietorship. Then controllership, Hiranyakashipu showed. So Bali Maharaj and Hiranyakashipu, they all showed proprietorship mentality. Even today you can see that, like Russia is now fighting with Ukraine. They say, Ukraine, don't join NATO, be with us. Correct, na? You should be our property. If you join NATO, you are siding with US. Correct, na? So every country is fighting, like China and India are fighting for a desolate land, Prabhupada writes in first canto. So everybody want to increase that proprietorship. After proprietorship, controllership. And then I will possess and I will control. In this way, I will enjoy. Yeah? That's what everybody want to do. So to convert these three into pure Bhoktaram Ekatapasa, one of you said that. That's perfect. It is. So in that way, that is the purpose of chanting. Destroy the material desires. It gives determination and awakens a sleeping soul. Yenesi aushadhi maya kashi varolagi harinama maha mantra lao tumi magi jiva jago Gaura chanda bole kota nidra jao maya Pishachi rakole. So you see, this is a very beautiful song. He says, Jiva jago, wake up, sleeping soul. He's saying, it wakes up the sleeping soul. Huh? The soul has forgotten the original situation. I am servant of Krishna. So chanting also, it's a aushadhi. Huh? You know the Sanjeevani Jadibhuti, correct now? As soon as it was applied on Lakshman's nose, Lakshman got up, correct now? Similarly, the chanting of the holy name is also a Jadibhuti which wakes up the sleeping soul, correct now? Like for example, Prabhupada tells a story. Once there were two big tall buildings, In the other building, one Mr. John was living, and this fellow was peeping through the window and seeing inside the John's house some thief broken, and he was having a sharp knife to stab and steal away his wealth. So this fellow was thinking how to tell John, can I write a chit and show it? He's already sleeping, he won't get up, isn't it? If I get down the building and go there, by the time I reach there, he will be finished. So from here he shouted, Mr. John, a thief has broken in. Like that he shouted. Huh? Immediately John jumped up. Huh? And the thief also ran away from there. Prabhupada says that John's life was saved because he heard the sound. So with sound, you wake up a sleeping person. Therefore, we all have alarm clock. Tadaradan, tadaradan, get up, tadaradan. It says in the morning, correct? No? So with the material sound, you can wake up the material body. But with the spiritual sound, you can wake up the spiritual personality, sleeping soul. Therefore, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The more you give this input, it does two things very powerfully. One is it cleanses the mind of lust, anger, and greed. Shoka moha bhaya apaha. It destroys the lamentation, illusion, and fear, and all those things. Unwanted things it cleanses. Another thing it does is, as you continue chanting, it wakes up the sleeping soul and reminds him of Krishna. Therefore, we say, Smritim punar vismrita tattva vartmanam kuyoginam no vidarattalambarahi. Prithu says that the punah smriti comes. Again, the remembrance comes. Whatever we have forgotten. Oh, my Krishna is my very dear friend, very dear Lord. I have forgotten him. I have shown my back to him. Now I will face towards them. And then you develop taste in devotional service. So, in this way, and the holy name, not only that, the holy name actually relieves you of the three gunas, three modes. It relieves you of the cycle of birth and death. It uplifts you. It takes you beyond Brahma Jyoti, beyond Brahma Bhuta. It takes you to the spiritual world. There it puts you right in front of the Lord. You see the Lord's darshan. There's one song, Ishad Bikasi Punaha. There's a Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes a very beautiful song. You will see that. Yeah, here it will come now. So, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that this chanting of the holy name is such a very powerful prayer. This is a song you can see here. ईषद विकसी पुनः देखाय निज रूप गुण चित हरि लोय कृष्ण पास पूर्ण विकसित होया ब्रज मोरे जय लोया देखाय मोरे स्वरूप विलास मोरे सिद्ध देह दिया कृष्ण पासे राखे गिया ये देहेर कोरे सर्वनाश. What is the meaning of that? He's saying ईषद विकसी पुनः. Here is such is the power he manifests when his holy name starts to blossom a little further. Then Dekaya Nija Rupa Guna. It reveals Krishna's divine form and qualities to the soul. Chitta Hari Loye Krishna Pas. It takes my heart very close to Krishna's personality in the spiritual world. It takes Krishna's side. Purna Vikasita Haya, which means a bud blossoms into a full blown flower. In the holy name, more and more and more we chant, the taste for holy name becomes stronger and stronger. It becomes fully blossomed. Braja more jaya loya, he's saying, it takes me to the Vrindavan consciousness of the Vajabasis, Gopas, Gopis. One's consciousness becomes posted in Braj, which means one no more thinks I am the body, all the upadhis go away. Not only that, one doesn't think I am servant of God. One thinks I am friend of the Lord, I am parent of the Lord, I am lover, beloved of the Lord, like that. Braja consciousness. And Dekaya Mora Swarupa Vilas. It gives my Swarupa also. I mean, holy name gives everything. And More Siddha Deha Diya. See, the holy name gives my Siddha Deha. Right now, what we have is called Sadhana Deha. When you become mature in chanting, you get Siddha Deha. Like Goswamis. Say, Jiva Goswami has got Sadhana Deha as a Jiva Goswami. But his Siddha Deha is Rati Manjari. Like that. So, when Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Sadhana Deha is Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And the Siddha Deha is Kamala Manjari. Like that. So, More Siddha Deha Diya, Krishna Pase Rake Giya. It takes me very close to Krishna. Ye Deha Rakore Sarvanash. Then my material body, along with its designations, is finished. After that, my gross body, subtle body, they are all finished. In this way, I become a free bird. I go back to Godhead after that. Like that, he says. So, in this way, it is Bhaktivinoda Thakur's writing. There are about many paragraphs. There's only one para is given here. I don't know how it begins. I don't know. Yeah. So, if you don't chant Hare Krishna, what happens? Please read.
Not chanting, spiritual weakness and deviation into material ambitions.
That happens. If either not chanting or poor chanting, poor quality chanting. See, Prabhupada gives a very simple example. You see, you have firewood. But imagine you threw all the firewood in the backyard of your house. And then there was a heavy rain. So the firewood got drenched in water. Now, immediately go and pick it up and then you stack it inside. But next day you put it in the chula. What will happen when you put the firewood in the furnace? Smoke will come. Along with fire, there will also be smoke, which will be disturbing. So, mixing sense gratification into our Krishna conscious lifestyle is like sprinkling water in a firewood. Prabhupada gives that example. So, in chanting, we commit offenses, and we also commit sins. So, sins and offenses are the cause of slow progress in spiritual life. So, and those who don't chant are those who chant very weakly, without concentration, or not even making an effort. They take it casually. There is one very nice video Hare Krishna TV people have made. Some 50, 30 or 50 different ways how you should not chant. You all saw that? Actually, you can, I will show you what it is, then you can see the video yourself later. Correct. That's the one. Sorry. See, to-do list japa. I hate him japa. I am right japa. Watering the weeds japa. Beat the clock japa. Robo japa. Firing black mantras japa. So killing time japa, creative japa, all this. So many different, all this they are showing, I mean, in the internet japa. So in that way, the whole idea is, there is a video also. I have that video, I have to look at it. So that means the chanting has to be done properly. We should not allow deviation into mental ambitions. Purpose will be defeated. See, chanting will also give you material ambitions, if we are committing offenses. But that is a very, great foolishness, because we are leaving the diamond aside and taking a broken glass piece. It's like that, right? No? Okay. Please read this one, second one.
Regulative principles. We lose our desire for sinful habits, their profound convictions, and our
If you follow the 4 regs strictly, illicit sex and meat eating, intoxication and gambling. So when Prabhupada writes about these 4 regulative principles, first thing he will always write illicit sex. Second thing he will write meat eating. Why? Because the tongue and the genitals are the most difficult senses to control. So if one controls these 2 senses, all other senses are very easy to control. So illicit sex, sex before marriage, sex outside marriage. Besides they're watching pornography and dirty websites and everything. Also glancing at women lustily. All these things come in illicit sex. So that weakens the spiritual, substance in us. So similarly, the intoxication also includes false pride, boastful about one's education or one's accomplishments, achievements in life. That is also intoxication. And speculation, not speaking the way Prabhupada taught, compromising on the presentation and baffling. So those are all coming in speculation. So in this way, if regulative principles are very strictly followed, we gradually lose the desire for sinful habits. And we develop a firm conviction and bhava for Krishna by that. Can you imagine? Because what happens when you strictly follow the regulative principles, then that makes the mind very calm, cool, collected. Then that mind can be like a springboard to jump to attentive japa also. Like for example, if you take a lens and you focus at a focal point, you can burn a paper. But if you do like this, if you do a lens, can you burn it? You cannot. Right now, mind is shaking because of not following regulative principles. When you follow the regulative principles, then mind can be stable. When mind is stable, you can focus. When you can focus, you can burn away the impurities. And when you burn away the impurities, then bhava develops. Therefore, the chanting and 4 regs are most important. Yeah, next.
study Sri Prabhupada books.
Yeah.
Discuss subject minutely and effect it from all angles and several new understandings.
Yeah. So how do we inspect it from all angles while studying Prabhupada books? For example, you study about Hiranyakashipu's penance versus Dhruva's penance. Can you make a comparison? See, Hiranyakashipu worshipped whom? Brahma. And Dhruva worshipped Supreme Lord. That means one worshipped demigod, another one worshipped Supreme Lord. Correct, no? Okay. And what was, if you see, what are the differences you can think about Hiranyakashipu's worship and Dhruva's worship? He developed more and more desires, whereas Dhruva, yes, correct. And he was happy with bhakti. He said, I am ready to forego my desire for kingdom. I am very happy in bhakti only. Correct. That's one difference. Thank you. Any other difference?
After being the controller of the planetary system, Hiranyakashipu was not satisfied, whereas Dhruva Maharaj was only wanting association.
Correct. Dhruva was happy with association of devotees, whereas Hiranyakashipu became very dissatisfied. Okay? And during the penance, if you see, Hiranyakashipu was not having any guru. On his own, he did meditation. Correct now? Whereas Dhruva had a guru. Who is that? Narada. He accepted a guru. And Hiranyakashipu followed a Tadasana. Tadasana process by raising the hand and producing fire. It was creating so much trouble in the planets. That is Hiranyakashipu's asana. Whereas our Dhruva, he performed Ashtanga Yoga as taught by Narada, and his focus was on Lord Vishnu, Vishnumurti form in the heart. He did. And Dhruva attained prema for Vishnu at the end. Whereas this fellow only attained the kingdom of the world. He attained something material, Dhruva attained something spiritual. You can see that. And you can also see that Dhruva went back to Godhead, and by surrendering to the Lord. Whereas Hiranyakashipu was only liberated. Correct now? By being killed by Lord Narasimha. Correct now, you can see. So, in this way, what we should do, we should study the differences, analyze, compare, contrast, and also evaluate situations. One more I'll tell you. Daksha Prajapati is coming in the assembly. 2 people are not getting up. Who are they? Brahma and Shiva. So, another example you read in Bhagavatam. Brihaspati is coming into the Sabha. Who is not getting up? In the first case, who is at fault? Who is said to be faulty? Daksha. The second case, who is said to be faulty? Why? Both scenes are same scenes. In both cases, somebody is coming in and somebody is not getting up. Why in the first you say one is coming in man is faulty, in the second case, sitting man is faulty? Why? Like this you have to think. When you start thinking deeply like this, then that churning of the discussion will bring about deeper understanding. Yes? Anybody?
Depending upon who the person, if the disciple is entering, then he should offer obeisance rather than we should not expect the spiritual master to welcome him.
Correct. And what about your answer?
Lord Shiva was absorbed in something spiritual.
Shiva was absorbed in Vasudeva, remembering the Lord. And Vasudeva includes all the living entities who are his part and parcels. So, and Shiva is a Vaishnavana Meta Shambhu. Whereas Daksha was in a very proud mood. He was actually like very boastful about himself, he was arrogant. Therefore, he is said to be faulty. In the case of Brihaspati, he is a guru, and guru comes, disciple has to get up. So, although both the scenes appear to be very similar, correct now? Similarly, let us take one more instance. Say, Ajamila is going to forest to pluck flowers, correct now? Was his intention pure or impure? Pure. But after seeing that Shudra Shudrani embracing, kissing each other, the result was what happened to him? He fell down. Now Narada is coming to Mandakini Ganga and he is seeing Nalakur Manigriva practically nude, and the Devis are also nude, and all of them are having Jalakrida, playing in the waters. So what happened to Narada? Did he fall down? No, rather he delivered them. He made them witness Krishna's pastimes and attain perfection. Correct now? How is it that in both the cases they saw a dirty scene? In one case, one fell down, in another case, one became an elevator. How? How it happened?
Because in case,
He had Kama Karma Bijas in his mind, which was pushing him. Therefore, he fell down. And in Narada's case, what happened? He is a pure devotee. He has no such lower nature. He has developed a higher taste. Therefore, he did not fall down. See, like this, we should study Bhagavatam, correct now? When you study Bhagavatam, when you compare, analyze, contrast, evaluate, and think, and then after studying Bhagavatam, you should not just study, you should also recollect what you heard in the class, and then in the class make short notes, brief notes, and then later on go through the notes and try to recollect. It's called Mananam. We call it Shravanam, then Mananam. Then, how is it applicable to my personal life? And how is it applicable to the people of the world? Both you should see. Then when you look at the world with the spectacles of Shastric knowledge, it's called Shastra Chakshu, we call it. At that time, you will see that it becomes a very firm truth for you when you realize it. then it's called nididhyasana. Nididhyasana means clearly, nitya anitya vastu vivekam. That's one of the aspects of nididhyasana.
Similar to Swadhyaya or this?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
I was saying it is similar to Swadhyaya or
In Swadhyaya, we say study, Swadhyaya study should be done like this, scrutinizing study we are talking about. See, Nirantaram vicharo yah shrutartasya guror mukhat tan nididhyasanam proktam tachaikagryena labhyate. He's saying, Nirantaram vicharaya shruta artasya guror mukhat. Whatever you heard from a spiritual master, Nirantaram vichara means what? Always keep thinking about it. Jivara Sarupahai Krishna Nitadas. Jivara Sarupahai Krishna Nitadas. This is what Guru told me in the morning. Or Gopi Bartu Padakamalayor Dasa Dasanadas. Athnada Peshune Chena. Tharora Pesahishna. This is what he said. Guru Mukhat. Whatever meaning you heard, our Shruti's meaning from the Guru Mukha, Nirantaram Vicharoya. And then Tad Nididhyasanam Proktam Tachai Ekragirana. That is obtained by Ekagrida Buddhi. Now if you see, in this there are various Nitya Anitya Vastu Vivekam. Okay, I'll show like this. The Nitya Anitya Vastu Vivekam means what is temporary, what is permanent. And Iha Amutra Artha Phala Bhoga Viraga. That means earthly and heavenly pleasures, you get rid of them. You have no more attraction for them in that stage. And then, Shama Adi. Shatka Sampati, like for example, Shama, Dama, Uparati, Titiksha, and Shraddha and Samadhan. Shama means control of the mind. Dhamma means control of senses. Uparati means cessation of external organs. That means you have conquered the external organs. And then Titiksha, you tapatraya, you tolerate dualities. And Shraddha in the Gurus and the Vedas. And Samadhan is concentrating mind on God and Guru, isn't it? And then Mumukshatvam, firm conviction that one develops a very intense longing. So these are aspects of Nitya Anitya Vastu Vivekam, Iha Amutra Artha Phala Bhoga Viraga, Shama Adi Shatka Sampati, and Mumukshatvam. So when we come to these kind of things, realizations, that's how the reading becomes effective. Study of the scriptures is not just for a scholarly exercise. The study of the scriptures should lead to the nididhyasana. Right? And Prabhupada says it's not enough for you to read and understand, you have to explain it also. Akhyatani, apyaditani. He's saying, what is that verse? Se itihasani mayanagha, akhyatani, apyaditani. Like that he says. You should not only study the scriptures, you have to explain it also to people. Look for an opportunity, catch some new people, tell them I want to share something what I heard in the morning. So you keep doing that, then that becomes an asset for you, whatever you shared with others. Okay. So Prabhupada book study, along with that you should do seva also. Because seva is practical, study is theoretical. So seva will help you to digest what you studied. That is why it said service and study makes you steady, it is said. If you want to become a steady devotee, you should do both study of the Shastra as well as service also. Then you get knowledge and bliss, not just the knowledge alone. By doing seva, you get bliss, like book distribution, Harinam Sankirtan. Some seva, washing pots and everything. And you become convinced devotee. Then it becomes easy to perform the austerities of chanting, morning program and everything. It becomes easy. Then you become successful. And also, Kaviraj Goswami in Chaitanya Charitamrita says, daily hearing Bhagavatam is like eating prasadam and drinking water. If an ordinary man does not eat, he will grow weak and die, he says. So to hear and explain them is more important than just reading, this I told you. So hearing and explaining, that leads to assimilation of philosophy, you see. You know the meaning of assimilation? Like some people put food in the top, within 5 minutes, everything comes out. That means it didn't assimilate in the body. Therefore, they are always skinny. Right? No? But assimilation means you eat the food, it digests, and then it turns into blood. It goes to different parts of the body and you get nourishment. Similarly, hearing also gets assimilated means the result of hearing is enthusiasm. You become very enthusiastic. You become awakened. You become convinced. You become sober. You become serious in spiritual life. Okay, with this I'll conclude. One or two questions I can take. Yes.
Very simple question.
Yeah.
Last point. You have to read the scriptures and tell about and
Others.
reader. हमने पढ़ा है उसको दूसरों को बताना. But many times it happens like a person is a good reader and it can also apply it in his own life, but unable to explain to some others because of some hesitation and have some fear.
That is the real point you have brought out. That hesitation will go away when you start preaching. I had that experience when I would go for book distribution. In the beginning, I had hesitation. But in IIT, there was one boy called Dhruva who inspired Gaurang Prabhu and me, in the early days. So he will have five proper small books in the hand, spread out like a sun rays like this. He will carry. The train will go and say, he will loudly make announcement. Hari bol, sab log dhyan se suno. Like that he will make announcement. And then he will glorify Prabhupada. उनको 2 heart attack हुआ, अमेरिका गए, प्रचार करके हिप्पीज को happy बनाया. They came back, and Prabhupada came back with Americans loudly. And we will be with him. We would be very fearful in the early days, but seeing him and then going with him, then we also started showing the books. So you have to go with devotees who distribute books. Watch how they boldly do that. Then we develop that. That's the purpose of explaining. By explaining over a period of time, the philosophy gets, it sinks in the heart. It's clear now? Anybody else? What is the meaning of that? Philosophical speculation means Krishna says, Rasoham Kaunte, I am the essence of all tastes, he says. So you don't question that. You understand that Krishna is the taste. But you can try to prove it. For example, fruit juices, when we drink, how joyful we feel. That taste is Krishna. Prabhupada said even the liquor drunkards, they find some taste in that. Prabhupada said if you think it is Krishna, then eventually you will be able to give it up and become a proper devotee. Prabhupada said. So that means you philosophically you analyze what you heard. For example, he says, Yehi sansparshaja boga dukkha yone evate, he says. That means if you bring the sense objects and senses in contact, that leads to suffering. You analyze, how is it? If I take gulab jamun and put it in my tongue, I don't get suffering. I get happiness. Then why Krishna says suffering? How do we understand it? Anybody? Why? Yeah, anybody else? You answered nicely. And you both answered. Those you three of you don't answer, give the others opportunity to think also. How is it that when you contact the sense object to the senses, that is the cause of suffering, he says. Anybody can say why?
You want more after
It increases your hankering. In our ashram in Pune, in those days, I told the brahmacharis, poor fellows, morning they eat and evening they eat. Keep some kurumra, No kurumra? Kurumra is actually puffed rice. So they very nicely puffed it with turmeric and chili and all that they made, with salt and everything. They kept a big sack in the corner. So then later on, one devotee said, Prabhu, it is so crispy and so attractive. In the daytime, you go and put one mouthful, immediately bring a plate and eat a big quantity of that. Then evening, nobody will come for prasad, correct? Then we removed that after that. We didn't keep it. So that's the correct point. Who said that hankering? You said that. That's perfect. That means it increases hankering. Hankering for more and more of that. And then when you take more and more of that, you'll get stomachache. Then you will get suffering. And if they say, no, it's limited, only 2 gulab jamuns you will get, then also you get suffering for not getting it. If you don't get, you suffer. If you eat more and more, you suffer in another way. Correct? Somehow you got secretly a dozen gulab jamuns. You put in a plate and kept it below your locker. You went to take a bath and you came back and saw somebody has stolen it. That causes even more suffering. Correct? If you got it, you are proud. If you lost it, you are lamenting. Therefore, ultimately, contact of senses and sense objects leads to suffering. This is called philosophical speculation. Now, mental speculation means you say, no, I don't believe in what is said. That's mental speculation. Understand now? Difference. Now, I have to take a little prasad and go for the Harinam. Thank you. Yeah, ask it. Correct.
So when we start chanting, in the initial days,
Yeah.
we feel the effect that we don't get such thoughts. But over a period of time, we start getting those thoughts again and again.
That is because the black zone is the outer zone, where impure thoughts come That is called negative distractions. Even after 5-10 years also one can get lusty thoughts. It's not something that goes away. We have a very old history of being indulging in millions of lifetimes. So it will not go away very easily. So there is, but one thing is, it's not that you will be stuck in the outer zone. That is a negative distraction. After that black zone you cross, then there's orange zone where you go, you come to the positive distractions, which means, oh, today evening there's a program, I have to arrange, this, arrange that, how will I call the boys? Maybe afternoon I will call. So you're planning for the, some preaching events. That is a positive distraction. Then you go to the yellow zone inside, where you will find prayerful thoughts, prayerful, mood, very, very saintly thoughts will arise in that. Divine thoughts will arise. Then as you keep chanting intensely, then the divine couple will manifest. Then when the divine couple manifests, one gets glimpses of the Lord in the asakti stage. Lord appears and disappears like that. Then one goes beyond that asakti stage, then clearly one will be able to see not only the form, when the name comes the form, then the qualities of the Lord will manifest like waves coming in the ocean. So the devotee will be overwhelmed by the remembrance of that. That's how the tears come in a devotee's eye. So then the qualities eventually will manifest the pastimes. And then when one comes to the bhava stage, as soon as one starts the chanting, boom, immediately the pastimes will manifest first. Then in the pastimes, he will see the qualities. And while seeing the qualities, he will see the rupam. And then in the roop, then the name will be going in the background. Therefore we say, Shri Radhika Madhavayora Para, Madhurya Leela Guna Rupa Nam Nam. He says. It reverse order. Because once you have become pure devotee, then the Leela comes first. Then Guna, then Rupa, then Nama. Like that. But in our stage, you have to go from Nam, Rupa, Guna, Leela. We have to go. We have to chant the holy name. Inside the Nam, everything is there. It will just manifest. Thank you.
Thank you. Very good.